Ji, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to my podcast, Inspiring Souls. This
Welcome.
is Jabbar Khan here, and today we have honor to have Mr. Naeem Abbas, CEO and founder of 24/7 Consultancy with us. Assalamu alaikum, sir. कैसे हैं आप?
वालेकुम अस्सलाम। ठीक ठाक। आप बताएं, आप कैसे हैं?
बहुत शुक्रिया सर, आपका बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने अपने बिजी स्केड्यूल से हमें टाइम दिया। तो इनिशियली ये है कि आप मुख्तसर सा अपना तारफ़ या अपना जो सफ़र है वो हमारे साथ शेयर करें कि 24/7 का आगाज़ कब हुआ, और आप अपना बचपन, एजुकेशन वो भी थोड़ा-सा हमारे साथ शेयर कर सकते हैं।
Thank you so much. First of all, I really appreciate you taking time and doing this podcast with me. Uh, so I'll start off with my name. My name is Naeem Abbas. I was born and raised in a small village of Multan, near Karhol Pakka. So I started my early education from a primary school, which was a government. And so, back in the days, like early or late 90s, your primary schools are all Urdu medium. So I started with Urdu medium school. It was class six when it was first time I was introduced to ABCD, right? So I did not study English from the scratch. So I completed my metric from Multan board. Then I went to Karachi and I learned English without even taking admission to the college. I initially wanted to learn English, so I spent my one year on learning English, and then I got admission in intermediate. I did my intermediate, then I went to Lahore for doing my BCom. I did my graduation from Punjab College of Commerce. Then I went back to Karachi and did my MBA. And after the MBA, I actually started university, and I was doing my BA, BEd, and MEd because I wanted to stay in the field of teaching. That was my passion. So I started my teaching, continued for 7, 8 good years, and then it was like 2012 when I said goodbye to the teaching field due to certain various reasons. And I'm sure you know the Pakistan में teaching का क्या scope है, क्या future होता है, and the people don't appreciate you and your family don't get to support you when it comes to teaching because there are so many other factors. So I had to switch careers. So I started a job at a company in Karachi. It was the call center industry. So it was a night job, living against the odds, right, against the nature. It was not easy, right? A lot of my family members, friends, most of them were not happy with the decision that I took because I was going against the routine, right? So not many people back in the days of 2012, like 10, 15 years ago, people would not love or even want their loved ones to go work in the night shift. That was a tough decision. I switched all my friends, I switched all my family members. I did not have time to talk to people because when they're awake and want to talk, I'm sleeping because I have to do a better job on my job that is actually paying me my bills. So I have to stay focused. So in order to stay focused at work at night, I have to sleep in the daytime. So it went on and on and on. So I will cut the long story short, and I'll tell you how I bumped into medical billing industry. So,
Yes.
so Karachi, I was doing job from 2012 to 2017. I left that job and I went jobless for a year. I tried multiple things to get back to work, but unfortunately or fortunately, I couldn't get any other job offer. So I started teaching again. And while teaching, I was doing multiple other things. I was doing a call center part time. I was doing home tuitions. I was teaching in a school. I was teaching English language in a language center and trying to meet my daily or weekly or monthly expenses and help my family. So it was 2018 when I actually got a call from MTBC. And I always tell everybody that, MTBC is a game changing company in Pakistan because they have given you a new way of making people to work or create more jobs. So I was interviewed. It was an online interview because I did not have money to travel to Rawalpindi all the way from Karachi. So I requested them for an online interview, and they were courteous enough to schedule my online interview. I was selected somehow, and then I joined MTBC back in it was April 26, 2018. That was my first day at MTBC. I started working as a project manager, and that is where I was introduced to medical billing industry for the first time because the kind of work that I was doing that was within the healthcare industry but we were only doing California workers' comp. So I did not have the whole revenue cycle industry idea that how that works and operates. So that's how the journey started. I worked there for 4 or 5 months, and then things happened. I had to move on. But this time around, I was not moving on for a job. I made up my mind that I'll actually set up a medical billing industry because I understood that this industry does have a lot of potential. And if all the pieces are kept together in a nice way, we can create a lot more jobs and there are a lot more opportunities. So that's how I started. So my idea was when I left MTBC, the idea was to create a company. And since I did not have anybody in the US that I know I could think of, and I did not have a lot of money to make investment, or I did not have the visa to go to the US and talk to people and get clients. So my idea was to cold call doctors and try my luck. So I came up with a feasibility report because I had to run my family as well. So I did not have the money. I wanted an investor to invest in my idea. The idea was to set up a company like an LLC in the US, have a bank account, I'll get a website ready, and then based off that, I'll start making calls to the healthcare providers in the US who potentially can be our clients for the company. Nobody liked that idea. Most of them came up with a lot of reasoning that this is not possible because you've never been to US, you have no experience prior to this setting up any company or working in the sales department or anything like that. How do you think this is going to be possible? This is not that easy. But somehow, cutting long story short, I got one guy to trust in my idea. He invested a very little amount of money, gave me about 6 months, and he said, like, if you can turn it around, then we can talk about that. And that was enough for me. So I had two other individuals. I started dialing, like cold calling, going on online and finding any potential private practices who are accepting insurances so we can actually talk to them and make phone calls and speak with them and try to understand if they need any help with billing, coding, or credentialing, whatever they need. We should be trying to convince them to become our client. It was not that easy, right? So the other two people that I hired, they left me within like 2 3 months. They said, like, this is really tough, we can't do it. But third month, I think I used to make about 300 calls per day, but I got one client to say yes. And that was the time when I realized that just no, now we are a company. And then we started finding more and more providers, but things didn't go well because that was a kind of business idea. And on that idea, my idea was that when the company started making money, I'll be making or sharing profits. But that's not how it works and operates. And I'm very upfront, so I tell everybody that whenever you're writing a contract or working with anybody, and that's good for the youngsters to know that if you really want to work, you have certain ideas and you want to set up a business and you need an investor, and you need to sit down with that investor and talk to them face to face and decide your exit clause first when you're discussing setting up a business. But that was the mistake that I made. So I had to get away with that contract because there was nothing coming my way and I was being treated as an employee. I left that company and started finding another investor, and it took me a year, right? But now this time I was starting with an experience. So I found another investor, a very good friend of mine, started working with him, set up a company for him, and that company started doing really well. But again, I bumped into the same problem because I did not again sign the contract based off the exit clause, like what percentages are going to be given to me and what percentage is going to be kept by that friend of mine. Ultimately, I had to again lose everything and start from scratch. So it was July 2021 when I started again, third time, but this time I had no partners. It was just me. So I came up with 24/7 Consultancy SMC Private Limited. So I started from my home, the dining table, with 3 4 people, right? And then Allah has been so kind. I started getting traction. I had to actually rent the lower portion of my home where I was living. I requested the landlord that if you can rent me that portion. So I started renting that portion, hired 5 more people, then 10, then 20, then 30. So in that little home, we had about 30 people. And this is where I decided to now set up a bigger office. And I got my first office that we opened in 2024. January 2024 was the opening of our first office at the sixth floor location. That has the capacity to uh, about 250 people we could accommodate in that office. I remember the day when we inaugurated that office. My elder brother was the one who uh, came to inaugurate that office. 2 a.m. at night, that night, he came to my room, he knocked, and he said, Naeem, I want to talk to you. I said, yeah, sure. So he was like, you know what, I don't want to bother you, but I really want to understand that this is a huge office. You only have 30 people. How are you going to manage the expenses? Like, this is 250 people office. You just have 30 employees. I don't think so. You needed that big of an office. There are a lot of expenses, electricity, rent, and all that, but not. How would you be able to cope up? So I just tried to calm him down, and I said, well, don't worry. I think within a year, I will have another office of the similar size because I truly believe in Allah. I believe in my team, and I think we should be able to do better. So, and right after a year, it was January 2024, I have signed a lease for our second office that has the ability to staff up to another 245 people. And that office we opened on March 2024. Then we opened a third office in like 4 months after the second office was opened. Then we went for the fourth office, fifth office, sixth office, and now we're building our seventh and eighth office. And the company went from 4 people to 1,400 today officially, but we have already hired 200 more people. They'll be joining in the next 30 days. So we now have about 1,600 employees, and we're growing. And idea remains the same. That let's create jobs in Pakistan. I had the same commitment with all employees that I brought on board. That was the kind of vision of the company, and I kept on hitting that. Whenever I get a chance to speak with my people, I tell them, if you do not think about just yourself, you're always going to grow. The problem is most of us, when they get into any business, they look at what is coming their way. That's not how 24/7 operates. The way we operate, we make sure that our people come first. Our job is to create jobs.
बहुत शानदार सर। हमारी जो पॉडकास्ट है ना, वैसे इसका नाम इंस्पायरिंग सोर्स पॉडकास्ट है, और आज मुझे लगा है कि वाकई आपकी जो स्टोरी है ना, वाकई ये इंस्पायरिंग, बहुत इंस्पायरिंग स्टोरी है।
Thank you so
और
much.
हमारा कंटेक्ट चूंकि बाग आज़ाद कश्मीर से है, और एमटीबीसी का आजकल जो हेड ऑफिस है या बड़ा जो ऑपरेशनल ऑफिस है वो इधर ही है।
जी जी
और आपके साथ जो बात करने का एक जो बुनियादी ऑब्जेक्टिव ये भी था कि हमारे बाग के कुछ 15 से 20 हज़ार लोग जो हैं वो मेडिकल बिलिंग में हैं,
माशाल्लाह
और
बिल्कुल
कुछ जी जी इनिशियल लेवल से कुछ लोग अभी कैरियर का स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं। तो
जी
ये जो आपकी सारी स्टोरी है, एक उनके लिए बड़ी इंस्पिरेशन है, मोटिवेशन है कि आप अगर ये सब कर सकते हैं तो वो भी चलें, इतना नहीं लेकिन कुछ ना कुछ तो लाजमी कर सकते हैं।
again it's
तो
all about what I see. Sorry to cut you off, but what I believe, and I'm as I told you, I'm upfront, and I try to tell everybody, and want to give them a direction. Most of these folks, they are into medical billing industry, but when you talk to them, they cannot even speak English. This
यस,
is not right? So you have to understand what are you going to be doing, right? If you really want to stay intact with the industry, the first topmost priority would be your clients. And when you talk to them, if they cannot understand or they cannot take a good impression of your communication skills, you're going to have a serious problem. And
यस,
that's what I realized when I was at MTVC. That's what I realized when I talked to a lot of these other people. And I look at a lot of these CEOs. Like if you go online, LinkedIn, you have hundreds and thousands of CEOs. I just request them. I want to basically put an emphasis on this thing, like because you are a representative of our country. You're representing Pakistan whenever you're getting any client, you're talking to anyone, or you're actually making some phone call or trying to get up some business. You're actually representing Pakistan. I would really appreciate if we can start focusing on this particular part. Billing, anybody could learn, right? We do not need a master degree holder or a PhD or a pharmacist or a clinical psychologist to do medical billing. Anyone can be trained enough. And I have that other thing introduced to our company. We started teaching medical billing to people who do not even have their high school graduation or education or graduation. We taught them, and they proved to be the best billers so far. Right. So this is something very important. If someone really wants to ask me that what should I do in order to be in medical billing business or in medical billing job, I want everyone to make it your priority to improve your English language skills. That's very important. Otherwise, you
बहुत
won't grow. You can get a client, they can give you business, you can work with them, you can typically resolve their problems, because when you resolve the problem, they will end up paying you something. But when you look at the scalability, we are always going to hit up with problems. So that should be at least the priority, because then I get into these interviews all day long. I've got hundreds and hundreds of CVs coming. When I talk to them, I try to basically ask them few simple things that you really want to work. If you want to work, and I want to give you direction. That direction is learn English. Billing, we can teach you. Coding is something that can be taught, but your own
Right.
internal efforts are required to speak a language. I know your lower languages, right? I speak my like regional language, and I speak Urdu. I have a lot of friends, family, everybody does not speak English. But at the end of the day, if I have to improve, and when I was learning English, I had to basically cut corners from people who were not letting me speak English. There are certain tough decisions that you have to make. When I
Yes.
went to the school for learning English for the first time, people made fun of me in my class because I was mostly the weirdest person on earth the way I was speaking English. But I had to decide for myself, like, what I want to do with my career, with my life. So that's important.
आई हैव गॉट योर पॉइंट्स। तो अभी बात एक जो क्वेश्चन बार बार आ रहा है, हमारे कमेंट्स में लोग कर रहे हैं, पहले से भी वो था, वो जो एक खौफ है लोगों को कि एआई जो है वो बिलिंग को ऐसा डिस्टर्ब करेगी कि बिलिंग की और मोस्टली जॉब जो है वो ख़त्म हो जाएंगी। तो ये इसको आप कैसे देखते हैं कि एआई और बिलिंग में कौन सी जो जॉब्स हैं वो ले सकती है और कौन सी जो जॉब्स हैं वो एआई से और ज़्यादा बेहतर हो सकती हैं?
Well, I think AI is a tool to help medical billers, right? That cannot replace medical billers. And I've been asked this question all day long. A lot of these people, when they talk to me, they ask me like, what do you think about the AI? And most of them are with the conception that AI will take over like in 3 years or 5 years or whatever year, right? It's more about adaptability, right? The ones who are doing medical billing, the people who are in the RCM space, they know you can try to expedite some of the tedious tasks, but you cannot deny the fact that you definitely need someone to pick up the phone call and deal with those denials. Let's put it that way. आपको नहीं लगता कि जितना AI embed आप RCM साइड पे करोगे, insurance companies, they're not looking at the AI. So they will tend to introduce AI to their model too. So they will end up denying more claims now, right?
Yes.
So it's all about creating that balance. With AI, you will have better clean claim submission, but you will have more claims denials too. So it has to be, you know, you have to have hands-on experience with AI. Plus, you should know what you're doing, and then continue to build on that. It's about delivering quality and then adding people who are really there to fix a claim and go resubmit that corrected claim. तो वो बहुत ज़रूरी है. I don't think so, and this is on air, and we can talk about that. Like 10 years from now, AI will not replace a medical billing company ever. They cannot.
अच्छा। आपने बहुत सारे जो इनिशियल आपने अपना इंट्रो और लाइफ स्टोरी शेयर किया, उसमें बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन तो सारे कवर ही हो गए हैं। लेकिन
Right.
अगेन एक क्वेश्चन है कि जो नए लोग अगर कोई क्लाइंट हंटिंग या क्लाइंट आउटरीच करना चाहते हैं, तो आपने कोल्ड कॉलिंग की बात भी की, स्पोकन इंग्लिश, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स, लेकिन इस सारे को अगर दोबारा से आपको सिंपली बताना चाहें, तो वो क्या ऐसे हैक्स या कोई टिप्स हैं कि जिनसे एक नया आदमी जो है वो क्लाइंट्स को आउटरीच कर सकता है?
The most important thing is finding out a person that needs your help, right?
यस।
That's not easy. People are not in the market. They don't come openly up front. There are no platforms available where they come and they post, I need help with medical billing, or I need this and that. On LinkedIn, I've seen a few posts, but then those people are typically asking for somebody local, somebody being in the US, right? So my idea has always been the case, like, you got to talk to people, right? Pick up the phone. I don't like text messaging or emailing because you're at the mercy of others. They will respond or they won't respond. You're just sitting and waiting. So my idea has always been the case, like, pick up the phone call, talk to someone, and try to find out the problems if they're running into something, like, get to the decision maker, the person who actually has to decide they need your help or not. And it's not that easy, but on the other hand, you do not have any other choice. If you really want to do something, you gotta take the longest route or the toughest route. And the tough route is like with cold calling, it's not easy. We are the only company that solidly started based off cold calls, right? And I've trained so many people in the medical billing industry. I've got so many entrepreneurs. They learned, they're running their own companies, and I help them do that because I really want to create jobs. I know that nobody can take away things from my plate. So I always come up with ideas that how can I help people, because it's all about creating an opportunity for someone to work. And I alone cannot do it. If my thing is to create more jobs, I maybe end up creating maybe 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 jobs, but we still have millions of people who are jobless. So and one of the thing that I get from these Indian companies, they have like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 employees. We probably don't have only one that goes beyond 10,000 employees, right? So if they can hire these many people, why can't we do that? So I think there is a lot which is required in terms of training, education, acceptability from our education standpoint. Our universities should be introducing some of the courses so people, when they join any medical billing company, they should have some prior knowledge and they know what they're getting into. But when it comes to setting up a company and finding clients, it's not easy. You got to be ready for it, right? And then most important thing is like when you put people on the call, they should know what they're doing, right? It boils down to how comfortable you are with the person or the comfortable that person is with you when he or she is talking to you. And that boils down to your English language skills. That's why I put emphasis on that since I started this podcast. I said
Yes.
your skills. People won't talk to you, right? They don't know you. That's a separate story. But when they actually give you a chance, you drop the ball. You cannot even understand their questions or you cannot answer their questions. There's no way they're going to work with you. So there's no trick to it. It's just be simple, comfortable, talk to them, and ask them their problems. And if you have a solution to resolve their problem, they're going to work with you. We have more than 800 uh, solo practitioners that are working for us. We have got 1,000 plus credentialing clients working for us, all cold call, right? And we're into hospitals now, right? I've started signing up hospitals. I came to California because I had another hospital willing to talk to us. So this is all happening. Back in the day, people believed that if you do not have someone in the US, you won't be able to set up a company. If you don't have people who can, do this and that for you, you won't be able to do it. I've been doing it and I've been telling people that if I can do it, you can do it too. I'm probably the only person that comes online and talk to people and tell them to set up a medical billing company. A guy like 4 years ago, when I started my company, one of the guy I knew, he came to me with an idea. I said, sir, I need your help. I need to ask some advice. And I said, okay, go ahead. He said, I want to open up a call center. I have some investment. So let me know what should I do? I said, well, if you're asking me, what should I do? Then I'll tell you to open up a medical billing company because that's all I am doing, right? So if I'm honest and I really want to give you a good advice, तो मैं आपको वो बताऊंगा जो मैं कर रहा हूँ और जो मुझे आता है
Yes.
करना. So he laughed at me and said, then why would you tell me? Because that's what you're doing. And I said like, क्योंकि मुझे पता है मेरी प्लेट में जो अल्लाह ने मेरा रिस्क लिखा है वो कोई नहीं लेके जा सकता. तो अगर आप भी वही काम कर लेंगे जो मैं कर रहा हूँ तो it won't impact my performance or my growth. And that guy has a company now. He's mashallah earning good money. He has a separate office. He started within my company. हमने उसके सेल्स में 2 बंदे हायर किए. हमने कहा जितनी इन्वेस्टमेंट है ना उसने कहा मेरे 15 लाख रुपए है. This is how open I am. So I tell you all the stories that this is doable, right? So he said आप 15 लाख रुपीस. तो मैंने कहा जो जॉब कर रहे हो जॉब छोड़ोगे या क्या करोगे? उसने कहा जी आप बताएं. मैंने कहा अभी जॉब मत छोड़ो, एक काम करो, जस्ट थिंक ऑफ अ नेम ऑफ अ कंपनी, एक LLC बनाओ. यूएस में कोई बंदा है तो कंपनी रजिस्टर्ड करवाओ, एक वेबसाइट बनाते हैं. Then we can hire 2 people and put them in sales. They'll work within my company. I will train them. And when they close a client, they'll be on your company. And that's where you will get to have 1 client, 2 clients, 3 clients. And then at a point, you can set up your own office. You can just part ways. So he did the same. Now, he, mashallah, have like, I think 50 plus employees. He's doing really good. Whenever he needs my help in billing, coding, or credentialing, our team is readily available for him to help those clients, close those clients. If he has any difficult client or bigger client that he wants me to be on call with that client or someone from my team to be on that call, we even go and close and help him close those accounts, right? And then we have like 16 other people. They've started their medical billing companies working with 24/7 consultants. To be exact, 16 or 17 people. They're already having their own medical billing companies. Then forget about people who learned and left and they started their own companies They even took 24/7 clients. I said, okay, they're not taking anything away from my plate, right? जो मेरे नसीब में है मुझे मिलता रहेगा, जिसको जो करना है. But there is a way to decide. आपने खुद से सोचना है the right way or the wrong way. Allah has given you all kind of abilities, and if you really are a good biller and you think you can turn it around, then go the right way. That's all I did. I never stole a client from MTBC, right? Or anybody. I started from fresh. I started from scratch, and I helped people start those billing companies. The company that I left, they're still running. I had a simple thing I could tell clients because वो सारे client मुझे जानते थे, मेरा नाम को पता था. They were working with me directly. तो जब मैं वो company छोड़ रहा होता था, तो मैं उनको कह सकता था कि मुझे clients, you guys know me, so I'm going, come with me. I did not do that. I started again from zero, 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 right? So that's very simple. Your patience, your persistence, and your knowledge. Nobody can beat that. Nobody can steal that away from you.
बहुत ज़बरदस्त। अच्छा, बिलिंग से हटके एक क्वेश्चन करते हैं। आपने बताया कि आपने बीएड, एमएड और टीचिंग में भी आप रहे हैं। तो हमारी जो ऑडियंस है उसमें स्टूडेंट्स बहुत ज़्यादा, आज़ाद कश्मीर की ऑडियंस ज़्यादा है। तो आप अपनी जो आपकी सक्सेस है, आप क्या समझते हैं कि उसमें कोई ऐसी कौन-सी सॉलिड हैबिट्स थी आपकी जो आपकी इस सक्सेस की वजह बनी? और वो जो हमारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं, वो कौन-सी ऐसी आदत जो हैं वो अपनाएँ कि वो एक अच्छी, बेहतर और मुतवाज़न ज़िंदगी और एक कामयाब ज़िंदगी गुज़ार सकते हैं?
I think the very first thing is when you talk to people, they love talking to you. Your English. I rate English at that high level. You will
Yes.
forget about anything else. You guys like spend years and years on your education, spend hundreds and thousands of rupees or even millions of rupees on your education. But your people end up not even speaking good English. And we are all so-called English medium schools and colleges and universities, right? If you want to stay in the space of freelancing, for the matter, and you cannot speak English, stop thinking about that because you are not going to portray a good picture of the country. People can have, like, one client can trust you, give you business, but you're going to mess around for sure. At the end of the day, you are working with someone that cannot speak your language. तो आपने अपने तरफ से हर वो पॉसिबल काम करना है जो आपको क्लाइंट जब आपसे बात करें तो दे फील कंफर्टेबल. Right? That's the top priority. The second thing is you have to be persistence. Your consistency is very important. हम क्या करते हैं कि एक काम किया, नहीं हो रहा, छोड़ दिया, दूसरा काम कर लिया, right? फिर किसी और काम में लग गया. Your persistence is very, very important. The way I see my growth, because I started working with Americans back in 2012, and I'm still working with Americans. So I'm getting more hands-on experience, how to deal with them, how they react in different situations, what should I do, what is the best way to get business from Americans. So all these things will come along with the passage of time. Right? Take your one client as an opportunity and you can build on that. Your service quality should not deteriorate. You should be working on the quality of service. Right? Ask for your services. Do not do the low ball selling. That's also very important. So if you know you have a quality, then you should have a price too, because quality comes with a price. Most of the people when I interview, they say, well, sir, job chahiye, bas hire kar lein, kuch bhi. I have no demands. Why are you leaving yourself at the mercy of these employers to hire you at any salary they want to offer you? Bring on some skills. So when you sit in an interview for the students, like these medical billing companies, they need you, people. Like if you can speak really good English and you can impress everybody in the interview, like you start your career at 60, 70, 80,000 rupees, right? If you really speak good English, I have told my people back in Pakistan to make sure that we are willing to pay 80,000 rupees to a fresher, but he or she should speak perfect English. And see what we have. Like we interviewed about 300 people, we got 10. If that is the ratio, then why are you wasting your time and money on this education and you're making fools to your parents? Honestly. मतलब घर छोड़ के कोई कश्मीर से, कोई गिलगित से, कोई पेशावर से, कोई मर्दान से आके रह रहा है इस्लामाबाद में 5-5 साल से, हॉस्टल रह रहे हैं, ना फैमिली को टाइम दे रहे हैं, ना माँ बाप के लिए टाइम है, ना अपने लिए टाइम है, इतने बिजी हैं, लेकिन जिस इंडस्ट्री में काम कर रहे हैं वो इंडस्ट्री इंग्लिश बोलती है, इनको इंग्लिश नहीं आती है, राइट? medical billers, coders, everybody is the same, having the same problem. I really feel sad for those people. मेरे जब भी सेशन होते हैं अपने एम्प्लॉइज के साथ, मैं उनको इस बात पे बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेस करता हूँ कि भाई इंग्लिश सीखो, इंग्लिश बोलो, राइट? एंड देन दे हैव अदर एडवाइजर्स, वो कहते हैं यार कोई इंग्लिश से कुछ नहीं होता, हम भी तो 10 साल से बैठे हुए हैं, तो कहाँ बैठे हुए हो? Somebody is telling you to speak English or learn English, उसकी बात मान लो यार. He's trying to help you.
बहुत जबरदस्त, ऑसम। इसको वाइंड अप करते हैं, लास्ट क्वेश्चन आपसे करते हैं। आप एमटीबीसी की बात हुई तो आपने बागजात कश्मीर कभी तशरीफ लाए हैं आप?
नहीं, मेरे बाग कभी आना नहीं हुआ. आई वुड लव टू विजिट बाग इंशाल्लाह someday.
चलें जब
पर
पाकिस्तान
ऐसे
का।
मैं हमेशा ये कहता हूँ कि एमटीबीसी का हम जितना शुक्रिया अदा करें एज अ होल, पूरी पाकिस्तानी नेशन, वो कम है, बिकॉज दे गेव यू एन इंडस्ट्री. अभी मैं इंडिया में ऑप्टम देखता हूँ. ऑप्टम हैज अबाउट 20,000 एम्प्लॉइज. There's another company, eClat, in India. They have 10,000 plus employees. We have another company with the name of Access Healthcare. They have 20,000 employees, and all they do is billing, 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 billing. Right? Why can't we have same kind of companies in Pakistan? Then I started looking into it. तो मैंने देखा इंडियन लोगों से क्वेश्चंस किए, पूछा कि भाई क्या कर रहा है, what India is doing differently. So they have their consultancies. A lot of these people are training medical billers and coders and inpatient coding and outpatient coding, and all that good stuff is going on over there. So there's a high need for us to do something. So I've started even having meetings with some of the universities and coming up with those ideas, ताकि हमें जो fresh blood यूनिवर्सिटी से मिलता है उनको एटलीस्ट कुछ थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड पता हो मेडिकल बिलिंग के हवाले से, कोडिंग के हवाले से, तो एक करियर ओरिएंटेड चीज उसको बना लें. दूसरी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि भाई nobody wants to work in the night shift. क्यों नहीं करना चाहते नाइट शिफ्ट? It's just a job, right? I've been doing it for last 12 years. मुझे लोग कहते हैं कि यार, जो मेरे पहले दोस्त थे शुरू के, वो मुझे कहते थे कि यार तुम जल्दी मर जाओगे, तुम्हारे जो ना डार्क सर्कल हो जाएंगे, ये हो जाएंगे, वो हो जाएंगे. मैंने कहा भाई तो क्या करें फिर, कोई और बेटर ऑप्शन है? राइट नाउ ऑल दोज पीपल, फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली, वो सारे के सारे आते हैं, कहते हैं यार हमारे बच्चे को जॉब दे दो, भाई को जॉब दे दो, कजन को जॉब दे दो. पहले वो कहते थे कि नाइट जॉब नहीं करनी है. तो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि इस कॉन्सेप्ट को छोड़ दें कि रात है, आपके बच्चे वैसे भी रात को नहीं सो रहे, सॉरी टू से पेरेंट्स के लिए, वो रात को नहीं सोते हैं, दे आर ऑन द फोन्स. तो जब जाग ही रहे हैं तो उनको काम पे लगा दो, एटलीस्ट दे विल earn something, they'll get to a career. And medical billing is a career, everybody knows it. अगर अभी भी हम इसको accept नहीं करते as a career or as an industry, तो फिर कब करेंगे? So that's the thing.
बड़ी कीमती बातें हैं। ये क्वेश्चन मैं करने लगा था, ये जो नाइट शिफ्ट का है कि
जी,
यहाँ बड़ा ये
because
क्वेश्चन आता है
that's the question everyone has. अच्छी
मुझे
यूनिवर्सिटी
ये
के बच्चे बच्चियां जो है वो नाइट जॉब करना नहीं चाहते. अच्छा क्या करेंगे फिर, समझ में नहीं आ रहा. कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट बढ़ाते जाएंगे.
वो तो बल्कि हमारे दोस्त हैं कामरान, वो तो इसको ग्रेवयार्ड शिफ्ट कहते हैं, ग्रेवयार्ड शिफ्ट.
People call it a graveyard shift, I understand. लेकिन अब बता दें भाई, I'm hitting 40. मेरे अंदर क्या मसला नजर आ रहा है आपको? It's simple, right? When you really work hard, I play cricket. I can play like 20 overs cricket game, 2 matches in a day, right? I give time to my office. I give time to my family. Because you are able to give more time to your family when you're working in a night shift. क्योंकि सारे दिन के काम होते हैं आपके, आपको शादी में जाना है दिन में जाना है, आपको शॉपिंग जानी है दिन में जाना है, तो आप थोड़ा सा अपनी नींद को स्क्वीज करें, आप फैमिली को पूरा टाइम दें. आपके पास वीकेंड सैटरडे संडे ऑफ है, तो व्हाई आर यू नॉट टेकिंग दिस इंडस्ट्री, एक्सेप्टिंग दिस इंडस्ट्री? हमारा जो अच्छा टैलेंट है, जो यूनिवर्सिटी के अच्छे ग्रेजुएट्स होते हैं, दे स्टे अवे फ्रॉम नाइट जॉब. अभी मैंने वापस आना है तो आई विल स्टार्ट हैविंग दोस मीटिंग्स विद यूनिवर्सिटीज, एंड मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि प्लेटफॉर्म पे आके इन लोगों को बताना शुरू करें कि भाई इट्स द फ्यूचर.
शॉर्ट सा इसमें बता दें कि ये जिस तरह आपने बताया, ये एक्सरसाइज एंड डाइट को इस तरह की कोई टिप्स हों कि जो बहुत ज़्यादा लोग फेड अप हुए होते हैं नाइट शिफ्ट से, कुछ तो वो क्या ऐसी रूटीन, कुछ ऐसी फूड डाइट में या एक्सरसाइज में क्या ऐसा शामिल करें कि कुछ थोड़ा एनर्जी लेवल उनका थोड़ा हाई हो जाए?
I think money is the motivation. Money is the motivation, dollars. Right?
Yes, you're right.
You keep yourself motivated when you are earning a good living, then you get motivated. That's the very first motivation that you have. The second thing is you should love your job. And you should do job for the sake of learning, not for the sake of earning. Because money will always be there. Paisa aana hi aana hai, agar if you're going to be the best at what you do. I have people in my company, I give them $10,000 per month. And I'm telling you this on air. This is what the medical billing is. Now you compare this industry with other banks or branch managers and all these big companies. Like even look at the see like anybody that
Yes,
is
yes.
looking for a
Even with
multinational.
doctors and engineers and bureaucrats and
Yeah, and then they
yes,
just work for 10, 12 hours, right? You have a 9 hour job, but of course, someone that makes about $10,000, they have to go extra mile and work really hard, right? That's another thing. We have scarcity of resources. We are hiring all day long. Why? Because we need people who really want to work.
yes,
If
yes,
you are
yes.
doing a mediocre job and you are complaining that I'm not getting traction or I'm not getting a good package and I'm getting drained out and stressed है, fed up हो रहा हूँ नाइट जॉब से, वो इसलिए हो रहे हैं आप क्योंकि आपने अभी तक उसको एज एन इंडस्ट्री एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं किया है। आपको अभी तक मजा आना ही शुरू नहीं हुआ। मजा कब आना शुरू होता है आपको मेडिकल बिलिंग में? जब आप इंग्लिश बोलते हैं, जब वो लोगों से बात करते हैं, व्हेन यू टॉक टू पीपल। अगर आपने टीडीएस टास्क करनी है, डाटा एंट्री करनी है, तो भाई दिन में कोई काम कर लो, रात को आपको आई टेल पीपल अगर आपको कम से कम आपका जो ख्वाब है वो लाख 2 लाख रुपए महीने का कमाने का नहीं है तो मेडिकल बिलिंग में ना है। आपको रात में अपने आप को वेस्ट ही करेंगे ना। 30-40 हज़ार का आपने कमाना है, 50 हज़ार कमाना है, तो दिन में कोई काम करें। बहुत सारे लोग दिन में भी ढूंढ रहे हैं काम के बंदे, उनको भी नहीं मिलते। मेरे दोस्तों से अक्सर बात होती है, दे कैंट इवन फाइंड पीपल टू वर्क। तो एक तरफ हम कहते हैं जॉब्स नहीं है, काम नहीं है, दूसरी तरफ हमें कहते हैं नाइट जॉब नहीं करनी है। नाइट जॉब करनी है तो उसमें मेहनत नहीं करनी, डायरेक्शन नहीं लेनी है। एक बंदा आपसे पिट रहा है, कह रहा है कि भाई इंग्लिश सीख लो, इंग्लिश सीख लो, इंग्लिश सीख लो, फिर इंग्लिश नहीं बोलते हम। सही है? तो दीज आर द थिंग्स। हम कंप्लेन कर सकते हैं, हम ग्रम्बलिंग नेचर है हमारी, हम कहते हैं कि भाई ये हो जाएगा, यूं हो जाएगा, ऐसा हो जाएगा, सब ये कर दें हमारे लिए, वो ये भी कर दें। खुद से कुछ नहीं करना। अगर खुद से नहीं करेंगे तो फिर बैठे रहेंगे।
बहुत शानदार। अच्छा, इसको सम अप करते हैं कि आपने जो सारी बात की, और आखिर में अगर मैं आपको ये कहूँ कि पूरी कौम को आप कोई पैगाम देना चाहें, पूरे पाकिस्तान कश्मीर, तो वो थोड़ा कम्पैक्ट सा इस सारी बात को समेटते हुए आप वो दें तो फिर हम इसको
देखिए,
ऑफिशियली
मेरा पैगाम बहुत सिंपल है कि लव योर कंट्री। पाकिस्तान से अच्छा मुल्क दुनिया में कहीं नहीं है। सही है? मुझे बहुत सारे लोगों ने, इवन फैमिली ने बहुत पुश किया कि मैं पाकिस्तान छोड़ के चला जाऊं, लेकिन मैंने कहा कि नहीं, आई स्टे इन द कंट्री और मैं यहाँ बैठ के कुछ करूंगा। जब मैं पिंडी इस्लामाबाद आया था तो मैंने रेंट पे एक घर लिया। उस घर में पहले 1 साल तक बेड नहीं था, मैं और मेरी वाइफ एक गद्दे पे सोते थे। तो ये 27,000 उस घर का रेंट था। साल के बाद हमने एक और घर लिया और उसमें भी बेड नहीं था, 1 साल और। ठीक है? 2018 में एमडीबीसी आया, 2020 के एंड में मैंने अपने घर में बेड सेट लिया था। पहली सैलरी पे मैंने मोटरसाइकिल ली थी। जब एमडीबीसी मुझे पहली सैलरी मिली तो उससे मैंने मोटरसाइकिल ली थी ताकि ऑफिस आने जाने में आसानी हो। दूसरी सैलरी पे मैंने फ्रिज लिया था क्योंकि गर्मी हो गई थी। तीसरी सैलरी पे मैंने सोफे लिए थे ताकि अगर कोई मेहमान आ जाए तो उसको कहाँ बिठाएंगे। ठीक है? तो अगर हमें कंप्लेंट्स करनी है कि हमारे पास हालात नहीं है, हमारे पास पैसा नहीं है, हमारे पास लोग नहीं है, हम गरीब फैमिली से हैं, हमारा ये हो गया, हमारा वो हो गया, दुनिया आपको और ज़्यादा मज़े लेगी आपके। Nobody is gonna support you or help you. You have to stand up for yourself. आपने खुद से करना है जो करना है, और स्किल्स होंगे तो कर पाएंगे। और अगर आपने मेडिकल बिलिंग इंडस्ट्री में रहना है या फ्रीलांसिंग मार्केट में रहना है तो यू हैव टू वर्क ऑन योर स्किल्स। दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। और मैसेज है वो सिंपल है कि भाई अपने मुल्क में रह के बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं, बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं। इस मुल्क में रहें और इसका ख्याल रखें। दैट्स द मैसेज फॉर एवरीवन।
बहुत शुक्रिया आपसे, बहुत ही अच्छा लगा और बहुत ही गोल्ड माइन है आपकी जो सारी डिस्कशन है। इसको दोबारा से मैं खुद भी देखूंगा और बाकी जो हमारे दोस्त हैं वो सारे भी देखेंगे, और जो भी मेडिकल बिलिंग इंडस्ट्री में लोग हैं उन सब के लिए ये एक बहुत ही लैंडमार्क किस्म की सारी डिस्कशन है। तो लास्ट में यही कि आपका बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने टाइम निकाला और इतनी रिच किस्म की डिस्कशन और रिच किस्म की जो insight
थैंक यू सो मच। आई होप कि
हैं।
अगर इससे कुछ लोग कुछ ना कुछ सीख के कुछ आगे बढ़ जाते हैं तो दुआ दे दें, मेरे लिए इतना काफ़ी है। That's
बहुत
it.
लोगों को बहुत इंशाल्लाह फायदा होगा। दुआ, अल्लाह आपको खुश रखे, लंबी जिंदगी
आमीन
दे
आमीन। थैंक यू सो
और
मच।
खुश रहें, आबाद रहें आप। तो इसको एंड करते हैं अभी। तो
थैंक यू।
बहुत शुक्रिया आपका। थैंक यू एंड टेक केयर।
थैंक यू जी। खुदा हाफिज़।
थैंक यू।